Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're talking about dry January, which we're obviously not participating in.
I was like, what's the pause?
Quarterly dry weeks and moderation.
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
Today we're talking about moderation, but before we get into that, we got to get into the first sip.
Yeah.
Erin, tell that, we can see you watching. You're right there. We're looking right at you.
Hey.
So tell that person what the first sip actually is.
So the first sip is when we take the first sip of something we've never tried before.
Right.
And it's blind.
And it's totally blind, so we have no familiarity with the product. So let's get into it. Cheers. I keep saying this, but I should mention it is a mix between allocated and available products. So we don't know if it's something that's hyped up and hard to get, or if it's something that's readily available.
I got some must on this.
Some must.
Like, not good. Like,
you must tell us more. Sorry.
Like, my first nose of this was like musty mildewy, and I didn't love it.
Musty mildewy. Speaking of noses, I have a bruise on my nose. So
I saw that.
Yeah, I got a little crazy with some breathe right strips because I'm fighting off a cold here and some congestion. So I have a big old bruise right on my nose, but this old honker's working pretty good. I'm not getting mustiness. I'm getting like a really robust, rounded, sweet nose on this glass.
I'm getting more now, but that first initial sip was not pleasant. The second sip, smell. The second smell it's opening a little. It's sweeter now, but initially I was like kind of off-putting.
I'm getting a lot of sweetness. Like sometimes I pull this note out, but it's like it's that pack of nerds that's like the purple and the pink. Is that it?
Yeah.
And it's like the
So
mix.
does that mean this is a Buffalo Trace product?
It's smelling like a Buffalo Trace
because
nose
whenever
to me,
you say that, it's a Buffalo Trace
but
product.
MGP also smells a lot like that as well.
Okay.
But it's coming across really sweet. But it has some nice oak underneath that as well. It doesn't smell super high proof. It smells really nice. It smells really pleasant on the nose.
Ooh, tastes pretty good. Tastes kind of like a grape nerds. And then it gets a little tingly.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of tingle there from the oak. It does taste good. This is right in that wheelhouse of what I would consider to be a really easy sipper when I just want something sweet, something I want to lay in the background. There's not a ton of complexity there.
I don't know if I'd call it an easy sipper.
Really?
There's some sharpness there.
Is it because, there is a lot of flavor there for what seems to be a fairly low proof point? It doesn't seem like it's over 100 proof. It's not drinking super high proof.
No, but there's some sharpness there that I wouldn't consider easy sipping. For me, an easy sipper is something that's very balanced and there aren't any sharp edges. There's some sharpness here. Not bad, but I wouldn't call it an easy sipper personally.
On second sip, I'm getting a little bit of a hug. There's that sweetness there. There's that oak. It's coming through with all your typical bourbon flavors, but the sweetness is more on the forefront. And the oak that's there is kind of just neutralizing the sweetness. It's cutting it a little bit, but you're not getting many of the dark notes. Those are the notes that I kind of tend to prefer in bourbon. Yeah. And those are missing from this glass. So to me, this is like a summertime sipper.
I get like grape nerds on the front of my tongue and like oak on the back of my tongue.
Yeah.
And then a little hug right here.
It's kind of like that two note. It's like sweet candy up front and then a little bit of sweet oak on the back end. I'm missing a little bit of the complexity that I want. I will say that the flavor for what seems to be sub 100 proof, the flavor is coming through really nice, the concentration of flavor, but I'm not getting as much complexity as I'd like. I am fascinated to find out what this is, but before we get into that, let's talk about, let's run through our little rubric that we typically do when we taste things blind. So nose, flavor, experience, where are you at on this glass?
Honestly, I have to give it just okay on the nose because the first initial smell was not pleasant, and I've never had that before when I just smelled like musty mildew. It has opened up and it is better, but the first cut is the deepest, right? That's what Sheryl Crow said. So just okay on the nose, but then it gets a thumbs up on flavor and thumbs up on experience.
Yeah, I would personally give this thumbs up on nose, thumbs up on flavor, thumbs up on experience. This is a really strange glass to me because it's coming across a whole lot like an Eagle Rare, but we don't have Eagle Rares in our single blind sample pool.
Because we've had it before.
Right, but it's coming across very much like that. I mean, I'm really anticipating, like, what are we drinking here?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. This is Elmer T Lee. Very interesting.
What does that mean?
Elmer T Lee is like a $44 bottle of whiskey from Buffalo Trace.
It is a Buffalo Trace product.
Yep. And it's 90 proof.
Your nose is like on point.
I should get colds more often.
Yeah.
I need congestion to help me like focus in and dial through that.
You've never been so good at picking things out as you have when you have a cold.
No, not at all. But this is Elmer T Lee. Price wise, a little over $40 is retail price on it.
Okay.
It's very interesting that I said it comes across like kind of an Eagle Rare. It is a little more sharp than an Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare is Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1. Elmer T Lee is mash bill number 2. This is super nerdy stuff. But mash bill number 2 is a higher rye, even though it's still very low rye content rye. So maybe that's a little bit of that extra sharpness. Eagle Rare's 10 years. Elmer T Lee is a single barrel product, so who really knows how old it is? I don't think Buffalo Trace discloses that information.
Gotcha.
Here's the wild part, okay? Availability might as well be unattainable. It's an end of year lottery item.
Really? Why?
And people buy this if they can get it at retail for $40, $43, $45. It sells on the secondary market for $300 all day long.
Are you freaking kidding me right now?
I'm not kidding you. It tastes like Eagle Rare. And I'm not saying Eagle Rare. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying that Eagle Rare should be $300 on secondary. I'm saying Elmer T Lee should be $45 on secondary.
Yeah.
It is worth what it costs and not a penny more than that. I wouldn't pay over $50 a bottle for this.
I wouldn't probably pay $50 a bottle for it.
I forgot. So full disclosure, we put this blind sample pool together for the single blind samples for the first sip back in October, the end of October. So like I forgot what was even in there.
Yeah.
And I forgot Elmer T Lee was in there.
Wow.
And I'm sitting here drinking it and I'm like, it's not Eagle Rare.
First of all, who gave us the sample? Let's thank them.
So yes, thanks go out to Phil and Julie from the Bourbon Van.
Phil and Julie gave us this.
I think last week's episode, if my memory serves me correctly, they gave us the Woodford Wheat sample as well.
They did.
And like I said, this is a great pour at $45.
For $45,
I'm buying a bottle.
It's a decent pour. I think I'm just off put by that first initial smell I had. It legit smelled like mildew, and I was not okay with it.
You guys can let us know in the comments below. I think Elmer T Lee is one of the higher aged but lower proof products. But to be quite honest with you, I'd just take Eagle Rare or a Buffalo Trace store pick over this any day of the week because I'm not dealing with the hassle and I'm certainly not paying $300 for it. Okay, we do talk about retail and consumer metrics here. So the retail side of the equation, let's just call it a $45 bottle, but you can't find it unless you get it at an end of year lottery around here.
Just okay.
Okay,
I'm not about doing lotteries.
I'm giving it a thumbs down on retail because it's already pushing the envelope at $45 for me if I could get Eagle Rare for $10 less than that. So to me, it's thumbs down. You walk into a store, Elmer T Lee is sitting in front of you for $45. Are you buying one?
Thumbs down. I would get something else for around that $50 price point.
Yeah. I would give it a thumbs up. I would like to have a bottle around, but again, I've never even seen a bottle. I would not pay $300 for this. I would not tell anybody to. If you want it because of rarity, I mean, anything over $50 is too much.
If you want it because you like it and you have the money, spend the money.
Spend the money, yeah.
If you want it because it's rare and you don't really like it or you've never had it, save your money. Like, please, for the love of all that is holy, save your money.
Yeah, because the actual liquid in the bottle isn't really worth more than retail. You're paying for the rarity, and if that's what you want to pay for, that's a great point. That's very well said. We can cap it right there on our Elmer T Lee mini review. If you like mini reviews like this, these little capsule reviews, we do them over on our Patreon. We do 2 additional videos every single week. So check the video description below. You can find out all the information over there. We have our community element where we help each other out. If you need a bottle of Elmer T Lee, you could ask around, see if anybody
Someone
has
might have
any
it, yeah.
extras. You can get all the Whiskey Nerd info that we have our hands on, that we've collected through these blind tastings. Again, the bonus content, and then we do blind flight nights, which are a ton of fun. So depending on what your interests are, there's a tier for you over there on our Patreon. Let's get into our main topic, talking about moderation. We're talking about this topic because this episode's coming out near the end of January, and some of you may be doing a dry January. And to you, we want to say, good job. You got this.
Yeah.
It's just a few more days left.
Do it.
It's no big deal. It's just liquid in a glass. It's going to run right through you. So
Exactly. You're going to pee it out.
right. Don't stress about it too much. But let's talk about the concept of a dry month, or as some people do, like the Whiskey Tribe, one of the bigger channels, the biggest whiskey channel on YouTube, they do a quarterly dry week.
Okay.
And then other people, you know, they have their own ideas of moderation.
A dry 21 years.
Well, that's because you weren't 21 yet and you didn't drink before you were 21.
Yeah.
Nor did I, which says something about the both of us. We're pretty lame and a couple goody two shoes.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But there's people out there who are doing dry months or dry weeks every quarter. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's awesome. I think you can take a step away from anything, and that kind of refreshes you and puts things into perspective, whether it's whiskey, social media, television, buying things, anything that you can take a step back from and not feel like addicted to, do it every so often, because that will help you, I think.
I'm gonna just drop the mic. Let's end the episode right here. I got nothing else to add. She just shut the book on that chapter.
I mean, it's what I think.
I mean, I can't say it any better than that. Like, I absolutely agree. I didn't know you were gonna say that. Like, we don't pre-rehearse what we're gonna talk about.
Which is why there are bloopers.
Right. But found me fantastic. Fantastic. Rewind a minute and watch her say that again, because that was perfection. I will say, if you do want to do a dry month, February is the obvious one because it's only 28 days.
It's the shortest month of the year.
Yeah. But if you really want to challenge yourself, you overachievers out there, January is a good one as well. Dry weeks. I mean, what does moderation look like for us? We kind of covered this a little bit in our responsible drinking episode, which we'll link in the video description below. But I think it's a good idea to talk about what does moderation look like to us. For some people, that means that they take a dry month or a dry week every quarter.
Every so often, yeah.
What does it look like to you?
Honestly, I don't know. I've never thought about that concept because when we're not filming, I don't drink a whole lot.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, we drink more for this channel than we do on our own.
I drink when we're filming, and then I drink wine usually when we have guests over.
Yeah.
So socially.
Or if we go out.
Yeah, or if we go out. But when we're at home, I don't really drink a lot, so I've never really thought about it.
When we're out, we'll do like a cocktail before dinner and wine with dinner, and then maybe a pour after. When we're at home, it's usually nothing unless we're having a specific meal that wine pairs well with.
Correct.
We're having guests over.
Yeah, there will be some like Italian meals that I'll be like, ooh, I want a glass of wine.
Gotta have red wine with those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I mean, I personally don't like to drink to get slammed. Like, I don't.
Well, we're too old for that.
I mean, hangover.
It's not good.
I turned 30 and my body was like, we are done. Like, shut the factory down.
Yep.
If you overdo it, we will punish you. And ain't nobody got time to lose a whole next day for a little bit of whiskey in a glass. Yeah. So for me, I just tend to, rather than taking dry weeks or dry months, I tend to limit my consumption on a day-to-day basis. I mean, there's days I go that I don't drink, or if we go out of town and visit your family, they don't drink. That's fine. I don't drink when we're there, and I don't miss it. But, you know, for me, it's more or less just kind of that everything in moderation concept. I don't want to pig out on sweets. Well, actually,
you do want to.
Let's be
honest.
Real. That's actually where I splurge. I pig out on sweets from Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year, let's be honest. And then in January, I'm like, you know what? I've overdone it on the sweets a little bit. I probably should take January off of sweets. So if you want to talk about dry January, mine is like no sugar first month of the year. So that's what I lay off of in January. And so I can sympathize. I really love sweets. I don't have a sweet tooth. I have a whole mouthful of sweet teeth. And so if you're out there and you're like, man, I really want another drink, I'm with you, because I'm sitting here thinking like, all I want is a Snickers bar. So yeah.
Or Twix.
Or a Twix, or a Milky Way, or a Three Musketeers.
Or a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Oh, or a king size Reese's. I mean, that is 4 bites of perfection right there. Nonetheless, for me, as far as alcohol goes, to keep this on topic, honestly, it's just, to me, a glass of bourbon is like a nice dessert. It's a glass of bourbon and 1 or 2 squares of dark chocolate is a great dessert, and I don't need any more than that on a regular basis. So if you're going for a dry January, keep on going. You got this. It's just a few more days. Like I said, find a substitute. And if you want to do a dry week every quarter, or you just need some moderation in your life, I mean, we definitely do advocate for responsible drinking.
Absolutely.
With that said, that's it. Let us know in the comments below what you think about responsible drinking. You know, hopefully you're a fan, or what it means to you, rather, is probably what I should have said.
What does it mean to you? Do you kind of do it on a day-to-day basis? You don't drink every day, or do you take dry months, dry weeks, anything? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, let us know. That's it for this week on the main topic. Let's get into our other stuff this week. This one is a good one. We're talking about another TV show, because that's one of the things we like to do.
We do.
So what are we talking about this week?
Lupin.
All right. So it's spelled Lupin.
It's a Netflix show.
It's on Netflix. So go to Netflix, check out Lupin. 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 Did I do good?
Yeah.
Okay. Check out Lupin. It is a 2-season series. That's a third season's coming.
Coming out the 3rd season.
Yeah. And full disclosure, this is something I probably would not have normally watched. However, I'm really glad that I did, because of would you call it a Francophile?
Yeah.
You're obsessed with French culture?
Yes.
Which is true. Because you're obsessed with French culture, there is a French show, that is about a gentleman burglar.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm watching this, it's spoken in French, overdubbed in English. Right there, I'm already out, because it's not matching up, and that bothers my OCD.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. We watched it. I actually really, really enjoyed it.
After the first episode, you were like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. It's got, look, if you like James Bond, if you like that gentleman spy, if the concept of a gentleman burglar sounds good to you, you'll like it.
Yeah, it doesn't have as much like action and car scenes as James Bond, but it's
got some though.
It's got some.
It's got some though, and it's got some drama, and it's got some suspense, and it's got some humor. It's a really good show. If anything I've said over the last minute, or that Erin has said by saying Lupin, has made you feel like you might be interested in it, definitely check it out. I have a very, very high percentage of doubt that you will regret watching it. You will enjoy it.
It's worth a watch, especially because there's only 2 seasons, so you don't have to spend a lot of time to get caught up to where they are now.
And can we say this? Is this fair? If you're not in by the 3rd episode, cut ties.
Yeah.
I was hooked in the 1st episode.
Yeah. That's fair. All right. That's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching.
Till next week, guys. Cheers.